Supermarket wins legal battle with Nintendo. So I read this headline and I tripped out on this because of the fact that that's not something you would normally see, especially with a company like Nintendo. Now, I've heard in the past that Nintendo is one of those corporations where whenever they decide to get into a legal battle, they usually have it in their mind that they're going to win. I mean, I'm sure many companies do that go out there and do legal proceedings and stuff like that. But I've heard that Nintendo is usually a company that they have, for the most part, something up their sleeve whenever they decide to go to court with someone else. So, seeing that this wasn't the case for them when it came down to this supermarket in Costa Rica was a bit of a trip, man. And at the end of the day, when you look into the information behind it and everything like that, I feel like it's interesting for the reasoning why they were able to keep the name, the grocery store. So I figured it was something pretty interesting and pretty cool that we can go ahead and look into and go ahead and check out here. So a Costa Rican supermarket with a recognizable name for gaming fans everywhere has won a major legal battle with Nintendo, allowing Super Mario to keep its name. Since the launch of the Famicom in Japan during the summer of 1983, Nintendo has grown into one of the most recognizable brands in not only gaming but the pop culture world as a whole. The developer has released numerous franchises that have become synonymous with gaming, from Mario and The Legend of Zelda to Pokemon. Nintendo has also been notoriously protective of its brands and copyrights. And I mean, I feel like at that point, we all know that that's very, very much true when it comes down to Nintendo. Nintendo has often used its legal strength to combat both fan projects and ripoffs of its properties to mixed results throughout its history. The developer has regularly submitted cease and desist orders to developers of fan games based on franchises like Pokemon and Mario, suggesting the games damage its brand. Nintendo even engaged in a high profile lawsuit with Palworld last year, claiming the developer infringes on Nintendo's patents with regards to the game's PAL sphere. Now, however, Nintendo has found itself on the losing end of a lawsuit with the Costa Rican supermarket. And that is one of the things. I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of have to understand where Nintendo was coming from when they do kind of take some of these legal battles and everything like that. There was an article I also read yesterday about how Nintendo had canceled a fan project for The Legend of Zelda, like a fan made movie that they were going to do for it. And that is unfortunate, especially because I feel like fan films are usually so cool to see because it tends to come from people that are huge fans of the games and have a lot of love and care for the IPs. But when it comes down to Nintendo and other companies going after them in that regard, there are some times where you can kind of understand where they're coming from. It's particularly with Nintendo going after any Legend of Zelda fan made movies that would be coming out that people would be working on, because of the fact that, from what I've heard, they're actually planning on making a Legend of Zelda live action movie pretty soon. So in that regard, you can understand. There are other times where companies like Nintendo, and I'm pretty sure like Sony and other gaming companies, have gone after fan made projects when it isn't necessarily called for. Like, it's something you can feel like wouldn't be the end of the world if someone decided to make a fan project on it. But yeah, when it comes down to damaging the brand, that is another thing you have to really be careful with when it comes down to Nintendo, because of the fact that they hold themselves as like that family friendly brand. So any company like that, them or Disney or something like that, you got to really be careful with what you're going to do in regards to working with their properties. So Super Mario Supermarket wins legal battle with Nintendo. As reported by Nintendo Life, a local supermarket in Costa Rica has taken a major win in a lawsuit from Nintendo. The aptly named Super Mario Supermarket in San Ramon, Costa Rica was recently allowed to retain the name the store has used for decades, as ruled by Costa Rica's trademark authority, the National Register. The National Register ruled that while Nintendo holds trademarks for Super Mario across several mediums, its trademarks do not specify supermarkets and grocery stores, which is pretty crazy. And then if this is the store right here, you'll kind of see where they're coming from. Has like a, looks like black lettering, and then the sign itself is yellow. So definitely a trip that that's the name that they decided to go with. I'm curious as to what exactly caused them to decide to go with that name. If it's been around for decades, if it was one of those things where they were kind of decided to put that name up because of Nintendo and Super Mario, or if it was just one of those things they just, for whatever reason, they decided to go with that name. They knew someone named Mario and they just wanted to put that through. But at the same time, the fact that it is a Costa Rican supermarket, that does leave a little bit room. Like, it feels like they did it because of Nintendo at the end of the day. The massive victory for the local supermarket comes as the store only sports tenuous connections to the franchise. The Costa Rican grocery store, while boasting the Super Mario name, does not use Nintendo's branding or characters anywhere in its marketing. The store even sports completely different colors in its promotional and marketing material from the Nintendo franchise, using a blue and yellow color scheme. Oh, okay, so I guess it's blue and yellow, not black and yellow. The loss serves as a major upset for Nintendo's typical legal actions, with the store owners even suggesting the supermarket had considered throwing in the towel during the process. And I'm sure that's got to be something that they were very much considering, because when it comes down to big corporations, that's usually how a lot of them tend to win these legal battles, is the fact that they have so much money to put behind lawyers and stuff like that, that they kind of just hold out for a certain amount of time, and eventually the person that they're trying to go after, they do have to just say, you know what, we can't afford this anymore, it's going to be too much, and then they have to pretty much cut their losses at that point, which is sometimes it can be really unfortunate, really sad, especially if whoever is getting sued is technically in the right, or is you know what I mean, wouldn't be the ones that would be at fault at the end of the day. It's just kind of unfortunate whenever going up against a major corporation. So, Nintendo has spared no efforts to expand the Mario brand beyond its video game roots throughout recent years. The Super Mario Bros. Movie saw massive success following its 2023 release, with the Illumination Studios animated film even causing a spike in Nintendo Switch sales. That's cool. Nintendo has also branched out into creating theme parks based on the franchises, with the developers opening Super Mario World attractions at Universal Studios in Osaka and Los Angeles. While Nintendo usually gets its way with legal battles, the Super Mario Supermarket has shown even Nintendo isn't infallible. And as far as the Super Mario World attractions at Universal Studios, that's something I very much want to go to. I don't know when I'll actually have the opportunity to do so, but that is something that I'm like, man, I want to check that out so bad. And yeah, at the end of the day, that is one of the reasons why I'm kind of doing some information on this. Don't get me wrong, I love Nintendo. I think it's a great company. I've been one of the companies that I've grown up with my whole life, but they've had some questionable decisions that they've made in the past, and especially kind of recently when it comes down to Power World, their lawsuit with them. I've made my thoughts clear kind of on some of my past videos, how I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff they're doing because of the fact that they're suing because of patents, not because of copyright infringement. As far as like the pals looking like Pokemon, it's patents for video game, decisions and things that you do while gaming and stuff like that, which I just don't like. That I don't like that they're putting patents on game mechanics, which isn't something that I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, this, like it stated, this does show that not even Nintendo is infallible, which is, in my opinion, a good thing, because at the end of the day, as much as I love Nintendo, they are a major corporation. So whenever you see them go against like a little guy like this, the supermarket, yeah, it is one of those things. You do want to hope that if the supermarket or whoever it is that they go after isn't in the wrong, that kind of, I don't want to say justice is served, but it just shows that they just can't be going after anyone because they are a major corporation. So this is pretty crazy to me. This is some weird news, but you know what I mean? It is what it is when it comes down to this for Nintendo. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys think it's pretty crazy that they actually lost this lawsuit against this supermarket? Or do you guys feel like with, them having the name Super Mario, it should have been something that they should have won? So if you guys can leave your thoughts in the comments, if you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.